What's that, Veilguard? Afraid to chance death for your precious spirits? For all your fine words on the subject, only I had the courage to risk my life for our art.
I've seen Emmrich face worse than you.
I'm not the one so paralyzed by fear I couldn't seize immortality.
Johanna! Listen to me! You're right! I've never overcome fear of that final dark. I miss having a friend that could.
Yes. Always the idealist.
I'm sorry Lichdom failed you. I swear I would have helped you had you come to me. But puppeting this creature...
Puppet? Puppet? Do you think I'm staying a failed lich? I won't command my greatest creation! I will become it! To see you, friends. Scoffing colleagues, interfering Templars, inept rivals. You all have a place in my heart. And tonight you will fuel my ascension at the cost of your miserable lives.
Move!
You think you can stop me? Once I get rid of you, I will merge with my greatest work and conquer this city!
Emmrich, can she do that?
Yes! She's attempting full possession with the life of the people here.
We need to stop Hezenkoss long enough to destroy that lantern.
With that much life inside it, the backlash could...
We don't have a choice. You can't free the spirits in that lantern.
It might kill me and not even work. No living thing can approach it and... Manfred! Come back!
Any last words, Veilguard, before I... You miserable little...
Manfred!
Manfred knew you could do this. So do I.
By the spirits bound here, night and shadow, light and blood.
What are you doing?
Let your chains loosen. Let the fade draw close.
You'll never succeed, you old fool!
I release you to the air.
No! You small minded!
Emmrich, how's Manfred holding together?
We must go to the necropolis. His body could only take so much. But I underestimated him, Rook. What bravery in the heart of the dead. And how he grew. Manfred disobeyed me beautifully. He was his own soul at the end.
Can you bring him back?
I will ask.
Emmrich Volkaren. You were not expected so soon.
Did it just get colder?
You're in no danger, Rook. He's come to hear my plea. My lord, I come regarding Manfred, my fallen companion.
Yes, there are ways to return his spirit. But should you do this, Lichdom falls from your grasp.
What? Why?
Lichdom is long. If I'm to stand outside death, I must make peace with others passing through it.
What would we otherwise become? How many exceptions till tyranny? Revive him and remain mortal. Or let him slumber and join us.
Emmrich.
Manfred chose to help us. Am I too weak to accept his well-earned rest? I yearn for Lichdom, Rook. That leap into something greater, that everlasting light. Do I revive him and live out my days? Or do I honor death by letting him rest and protect this world through immortality?
I may not understand Lichdom, but it's your life's work. Your dream.
I imagined I knew its price. If I haven't even the strength to accept Manfred's sacrifice, I would outlive you all, Rook.
Would you still remember us?
Always. Kept alive in Lichdom's immortal memory. Death's swift touch, held back for all time.
If you really want to go beyond death, I think you have what you need to let all of us rest.
And peace shall follow. You're right. After I make my farewells, I will undergo the last rites of Lichdom. And Rook, thank you.
Emmrich probably has to prepare before becoming a Lich. I should see how he's doing. Why is it so cold in?
Greetings.
Rook, you remember Veilguard? We were discussing some preparations for my Lichdom.
I shall be with you until the end.
They sound supportive.
Veilguard is doing me a great favor.
Good. Not going to ask what, but good.
I've so much to do. Crafting a glamour, for example. After Lichdom, I'll need an illusion of my mortal appearance for polite company.
Good call.
I've told Harding about the ritual. I'll inform the others afterwards. Rook, would you accompany me during the final rites as witness to my Lichdom?
Of course.
Thank you. When you have time, I'll send word to the necropolis.
What's this Lichdom rite actually like?
I must pass through the gates and meet the oldest forces in the necropolis. A final appraisal of my soul.
Hail the living! Emmrich Volkaren and his chosen witness, Rock, the challenger who has rebuked the cruel elven gods.
Collect yourselves for the right.
I'm afraid this is as far as you're permitted. If anything should perchance go wrong, what things we've already seen. Thank you for taking me on, Rook.
There's not another necromancer I'd rather have by my side.
Truly?
Truly. Good luck, Emmrich.
I am come to be judged by the dead.
Emmrich?
I see so much more clearly now. The deeper eddies of the Fade, the pulse of the necropolis. I have been through blood and darkness, and I have emerged into light.
You look so happy, Emmrich.
I am gifted with an existence few have even dreamed of. All thanks to a friend who helped me find a clear and steady heart. Thank you for coming, everyone. Please, bear with me. This will be rather difficult to explain. I may appear the same as always, as I stand before you, but I've recently undergone a ritual that...
I thought you'd have a skull face. Like a skeleton.
It must be his glamour. It's really something, Professor. I can't sense you're a lich at all.
Harding!
Oh, no. Was becoming a lich a secret?
So, the Lich stuff is true, and you crossed that line.
A Lich? Look at Emmrich. Flesh and blood and everything.
He looks pale.
He always looks pale.
I have questions.
You needn't speak about me as if I'm not here.
Just tell me you'll keep your skin on.
That's not how it...
I should take notes.
Look, why don't we just start from the beginning?
Are you satisfied? Yes, I have entered lichdom, and I am not an abomination, or a demon, or a disconsolate spirit. I have become something more. And yet I am still fully possessed of myself.
So you are a skeleton. Got it.
I wouldn't have helped Emmrich if I didn't trust him to...
Thank you, Rook, but please allow me. I'd like to think some of us have become friends. I value that more than you might know. But I am changed, and I would never cause you distress by staying where I'm no longer welcomed.
You're no weirder than you were before.
I've seen worse with the Wardens.
You all... Really?
I think you'll be fine.
Okay, now, question time.
Lichdom suits Emmrich.
He wears the crown well.
Our congratulations again, Professor, on your successful metamorphosis.
I'd never have succeeded without you, my friends.
Do you wish for the return of your knife?
Yes. It belonged to my father, and yes.
It will be done.
Will we see you as often, Professor, considering Lichdom's demands?
For a while, certainly. I'm still being welcomed by my new colleagues. Things seem to take time in their circles. Tell me if I'm prying, Harding, but do you feel any remnant of the Titan's shade?
Oh, no. Well, maybe. Yes? It's complicated.
Would you care to talk about it?
I think the Shade was a splinter of the Titans that recognized me as home. She brought the horrors of our past. But the anger was mine. And now I know and feel things I didn't before.
But not as a separate entity.
Exactly. And hey, thanks for asking.
I've wondered something, Harding. Might your lifespan be extended, bound to the Titans as you now are?
Nev said the same thing. Do you really think so?
Well, if it's true, and you find yourself wondering about the years ahead, I was hoping...
Since you're a Lich, we'd be friends forever!
I'd like that very much.
So, how's being a Lich?
Things that pressed give way to understanding. The Fade runs even deeper than I'd known. But it's different now, moving through this world.
I felt the same when I touched the stone. But what I eventually realized? Everything I felt was always there. It was just me who'd changed.
Very sagacious. And true. I do have official robes to mark my lichdom, but they're reserved for formal occasions.
What's more formal than being a Lich?
I wouldn't want to seem ostentatious.
You're literally wearing a crown.
There's other Liches in the necropolis, right? Do you meet? Do you have, like, Lich lunches?
They've welcomed me into their company, shared secrets that would have taken decades to master. Yet, they keep calling me young Volcaran and informing me I needn't rush things so much.
You've gone from senior professor to junior Lich.
It's taken some adjustment. Lace, I've noticed that you look different to me now as a Lich.
Yeah, you mentioned how everything looks different now.
No, I meant you look different from other dwarves. There's something about your aura, though it comes and goes.
What, really? Is The Titan thing?
It must be. There's such a fascinating texture to it.
Okay, Emmrich. What if you go to a party with your mortal illusion on, and someone hands you wine?
I politely decline.
Refusing the nice gesture? Your host is hurt. You think they might cry.
I suppose I could pretend to sip it. I'm not sure the glamour would...
See? You have to think this through now.
I've wondered, Davin. Of all our friends, you seemed the least fazed when I revealed I'd entered Lichdom.
Well, when I took the vow to be a warden, I had to sip darkspawn blood.
That's fascinating.
It's a know-your-enemy thing. Point is, it changed me. Death won't be the same for me as most people. And I accept that. Part of the greater good.
I see. There's nobility in that.
I think Lichdom's the same for you. Emmrich, I think Hassan misses Manfred. I caught him in your room sniffing around looking for him.
He's always in there searching for crumbs.
No, he was whimpering. Sad.
Oh, poor thing.
When I was there looking for him, I thought I heard someone else crying too.
Oh.
I miss him too. Don't know what I'd do if I lost Hassan. Emmrich, just putting it out there.
Yes?
You and me, a monster hunting team. Warden and Lich. From darkspawn to demons, we've got you covered.
Corporeal and ethereal enemies alike?
See? You're getting it. Imagine the coin we could rake in.
Lichdom isn't about wealth.
It could be. What you said about Warden's early graves inspired me to make a will, Emmrich.
Very admirable.
And I'm leaving you a son.
Your what?
He'll need attention. 4 or 5 hours a day. Stock up on worms.
Well, then if anything ever happens to me, please keep an eye on your hammer.
That talking skull?
You'll need to prime the ether seals, watch she doesn't find a way to decay her wards, and never let her...
Now I'm redoing the will.
Curiosity. Where is it?
I'm afraid Manfred's gone.
Bring it. Back.
Spite, leave it.
I want...
No.
Thank you, Lucanus. It's all right. Spirits are often confused by death, especially amongst their own.
It should be here.
Yes, I know. Yes, Spite? No. No, you and Lucanus most definitely need to keep your skin. It doesn't matter that my own is gone now. His is perfectly healthy.
Hezenkoss, a weight off your conscience.
Oh, a great relief. That plan of hers to scourge Navarra.
A real charmer.
And Alia? Is she a weight off yours?
It's getting there. So, Emmrich, since you became a Lich, you can cast the same spell, but the signature, the energy to it. It's subtle, but it's changed.
Has it? How fascinating!
Thought you'd like that. Don't say I never get you anything.
There's a paper in this. We should discuss the theory further.
Don't make me regret telling you.
If we begin now, we might have something for next spring. You seem apprehensive about my lichdom, Nev. Can I alleviate any particular concerns?
All right. It took a lot of power to grant you this. How much power will 2 lifetimes give you? What about 10?
Aha. So it's my inevitable corruption you fear.
Some avoid it. But for eternity?
Lichdom's privileges demand dedication and service in return. I would not be as I am were my devotion less than absolute.
You say that now.
Will I ever convince you, Nev, that Lichdom can be a force for good?
Emmrich, you'll give it your best shot. And if you ever decide to become an evil, undead immortal, just wait until after I'm dead. So, Veilguard.
Yes?
Quite the character.
Some abuses of magic are so cruel, the people must be reassured that transgressions will never be tolerated. Veilguard tends to these matters.
That'd do the trick.
Hey, is being a lich fun?
It is a thing long dreamed of, an everlasting mystery to embrace.
Okay. Good.
Something amiss?
You don't smell that bad.
I beg your pardon?
What? You're dead.
Oh, yes.
You don't smell like rot. It's clean. Just a little of that after lightning smell you get from magic.
Then I shall take that as a compliment. Thank you, Tash.
You're welcome.
What a waste. What happened with Hezenkoss, I mean?
She could have turned her considerable intellect to the good of Navarra, and now...
No, I mean the giant bone skeleton. That big thing she wanted to become. You go to all that trouble and you make it look like that? I'd give it wings, or more arms, or something.
You've put a lot of thought into this, I see.
No, I mean, I never do it. Probably. Professor Emmrich, I have more Lich questions.
Of course.
Can you feel non-tangible stuff? Breezes, heat, dryness? And I don't want to pry or anything, but what if you crack? Can you repair yourself, or... Oh, testing! What's spell casting as undead like? Easier? Harder? Same mental inscriptions? Wait, I just thought of... Oh, you know what? It's okay. I'll make another list.
Answer all that I can?
You started seeing more books here after becoming a Lich professor?
Yes. Astral records tethered to the lighthouse. The enchantment that hid them assumed any searchers would possess living sight.
Professor, Emmrich, does the Fade look different to you now, as a Lich?
As the waterfall does to the trickling brook.
Amazing, I think. You know who Hezenkoss reminded me of? Anaris. Just something about them both.
Their willingness to sacrifice others? That endless ache for power?
Yeah, maybe that's it.
With Anaris banished and Hezenkoss defeated, at least they'll never meet.
Mortality's a hard price, but you'd miss Manfred.
Oh, of course I would. But a Watcher should be more accepting of loss, of grief, of his own death in turn.
You're braver than you know, Emmrich. You've always risked your life, against Hezenkoss, against the gods.
Death's abyss always recedes with someone to brave it for.
I think facing a lot of things would be easier if Manfred was back.
Oh, he was fearless. He has so much potential, Rook. So far to grow.
Then help him do it.
You're absolutely right. I'll need your help. Rest easy, Manfred. We'll soon have you back amongst the living. I've made my preparations, Rook. Will you help me restore Manfred to the world of the living?
I'll do whatever I can.
Thank you. We must go to the necropolis once you're ready.
Okay, Emmrich. How's this work?
We'll need assistance finding Manfred's wisp and drawing it back into his body. By pact and pledge, I seek an audience. By light and breath, let wisdom come. You've met these spirits before, but I've never properly introduced you. Rook, allow me to present two Necropolis Guardians, the keepsake of ages and far-sighted curio.
There has got to be a story behind those names.
Why, yes. It began many and many mortal ages ago.
Yet things aren't so slow we should dwell on that with guests here.
Friends, my assistant, my ward, Manfred, sacrificed himself to save us.
We'd heard you'd abandoned Lichdom to bring him back. Your work, your dreams.
You paid the price. But it seems there are many flickers of curiosity in the Fade.
And only one you seek. Draw his wisp near. Speak.
Can I help?
Yes, please. Think of Manfred. Tell me something you felt about him. Concentrate.
He was always excited to be around you, Emmrich. If spirits can learn to love, he loved you.
In the sea of the Fade, there are wakes left by our passing. Our desires, our fears. I leave this beacon for you, Manfred. Follow my voice. Return to me, please. Manfred?
It worked.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful indeed.
Thanks for stitching that seam on my coat, Fred. It was coming loose. And nice new threads yourself.
Thank you.
Yes, we needed something to mark him as an apprentice around the necropolis.
It's a good fit. See you around.
Yes.
Oh, you know what to call me. Okay, bring it down now.
He's excited for his training. Manfred's spellcraft is coming along nicely, more or less. Some undead have the potential to cast magic. I believe his was unlocked by his journey through the Fade.
What was that like?
Dunno.
You mean you don't know?
Dunno.
We must work on that enunciation. Why don't you fetch the primer?
I'm glad things worked out.
I'm glad you talked me into it. As he grows, Manfred will better learn to take care of himself. I won't worry so much when I pass on.
How do you feel about that last part?
I have moments of regret for what Lichdom might have been. But none would make me exchange this for anything.
Emmrich intends to petition for Manfred's full apprenticeship.
He must be trained.
Yes. He'll require etiquette classes at once.
I hope Manfred hasn't been a nuisance, Myrna.
He has not. Manfred did attract attention from new students. I have instructed them on correct politeness ode to the dead.
He's courageous, and I do enjoy his stories. I didn't expect it, but Strife and I are getting along quite well. But where to go with him?
Nev always wants to visit this fish fry stand in Minrathus.
Ah, youth would make even that a romantic evening.
It was. I hope. Sorry, Emmrich. Rook might be better at this.
Rook, quickly, Strife will be here soon. Does wandering Arlathan's groves or exploring its caves filled with lightning insects seem more romantic?
If you and Strife are just out for fun, I'm sure any place is good.
Strife's is a life of danger, constantly exploring, sometimes hunted, often alone. Whether or not he knows it, a man like that needs romance.
And you're gonna give it to him?
Oh, eventually.
How long have you and Strife been seeing each other?
Not for long. He inquired about my corpse whispering, then presented me with the most exquisite jeweled skull. One thing led to another.
That's some present.
Wasn't it?
If you want romantic, you can't beat a beautiful forest.
Very true. Perhaps serenity would be just the thing.
All set. Where are we heading, Emmrich?
After some consideration, let's jaunt over to the groves.
A jaunt in Arlathan. Not exactly what veil jumpers would call it. Though there are some flowers you might like.
Ah, I'll find some sample vials. Until later.
That's what I like about your friend, Rook. For a city mage, he's not afraid to play in the mud.
Hey, I'm a city mage.
We can't all be perfect.
How did it go?
Very well, thank you.
I knew Rook would give you good advice.
Actually, as it turns out, Strife does indeed collect knives. So your suggestion was excellent as well.
Really? That has never worked for me. I can give you the name of my blacksmith.
Lucanus, were you really spurned once for gifting someone a knife?
Not spurned so much as ignored. I just don't have Hilario's gift for flirting.
Well, we all approach things in our own way. Who was it, if I might ask? The recipient of your gift?
A crow from another house. It was a long time ago.
I'm surprised that the gift wasn't better received then.
You've met him. He's very particular.
Worries Strife and I don't have much in common. We come from such different places.
You're not that different. You both enjoy finding the strangest magical thing you can and poking it.
True, we share the thrill of discovery, but is that enough?
You actually like being around each other. That's already better than any of my cousin's romances.
Hilario didn't strike me as a romantic, no. What of your own relationships?
There's just the one. But we do enjoy dark alleys and talking about murders, so we have that in common.
Emmrich, how familiar are you with Tevinter's swear words?
I wouldn't say I'm fluent.
Right. So if Fred says, Venhidas, I didn't teach him that. I just spilled my damn coffee.
Oh dear.
Manfred's real talky now.
Yes, indeed.
Okay. Good for him.
I'm glad you have Manfred back, Professor.
Thank you. So am I.
He seems even more aware of things now. I got him to mix up a bunch of different inks and he barely spilled any.
Is that why Manfred was stained green the other day?
Maybe. This library was overwhelming at first, but I've got a great way of organizing materials now. Oh, but I'm still so sorry about leaving out those book stacks, Professor.
It's all right. The bruise is hardly visible. I've wanted to say, Davram, Asan performed magnificently last fight.
He did, didn't he?
You were almost of one mind, perfectly focused.
Well, maybe Asan needed a little guidance, a bit of discipline. By the way, was Manfred exploring on his own in the courtyard?
Not too far out, I hope. But yes, he'll need some independence now, as a mage.
What have we signed up for?
Love, I think.
What you said about Warden's early graves inspired me to make a will, Emmrich.
Very admirable.
And I'm leaving you Asan.
Your what?
He'll need attention. 4 or 5 hours a day. Stock up on worms.
Well, then allow me to entrust Manfred to you if I pass on.
Hold on.
Firstly, you'll need to check the rotation of his joints every 2 days. Secondly...
Now I'm redoing the will.
I've wondered something, Harding. Might your lifespan be extended, bound to the Titans as you now are?
Nev said the same thing. Do you really think so?
If it's true, you've a good name among the Watchers if you need company in eternity.
Thanks. And if I'm an immortal rock lady, I promise I'll check in on Manfred.
Oh, would you? Well, thank you. Manfred was very pleased to see you the other day, Harding.
I missed him too. One day, I bet he'll even be able to cast something other than fire.
Johanna?
Valkarin?
Until we find a suitable method of penance in the necropolis, you're to be confined under the eye of a Watcher, lest you slip your bonds.
How magnanimous of you to volunteer.
A challenge for us both. Was this your ultimate goal? All that death and destruction in order to rule the capital?
It would have been magnificent. Navarra, bowing to a leader who'd make use of its greatest works.
Your enormous bone construct would have destroyed half of Navarra City.
Well, there would have to have been some rebuilding before progress could begin. It's a simple test.
I am not loosening any of the wards around you simply to see whether you can learn new spells again.
Do you have any idea how frustrating that was, Valkarin? To be completely frozen in my spellcraft? And I could have fixed it by channeling through the skeletal construct that you destroyed. Speaking of which, what have you done with it?
That subject remains closed, Johanna.
So you're a Skulll now?
I refuse to explain my condition yet again to one of Valkarin's roommates.
I have my own room. Hey, is a Skulll still called a corpse when you're just a Skulll? Okay, I'll ask Emmrich. Hey, that Skulll on your shelf was yelling.
Johanna must have been fearfully loud if you heard her in the hall.
Oh, no, I was in your room.
Tosh!
I thought it meant something bad, like a corpse coming to life. Is it still called a corpse when it's just the Skulll? Hezenkoss wouldn't give me an answer.
First, no. Second, I thought the undead disturbed you.
It's not as scary if it's just a Skulll. Why are you so angry at Emmrich?
Because the bleeding heart keeps interfering with my work.
Your crappy magic killed people.
If you find me objectionable, do what Valkarin never could. Destroy my remains and end it all.
Emmrich said that would let your spirit escape. Are you trying to escape?
Of course I'm trying to... No.
I can't demand your repentance, Johanna, but perhaps reflection beckons.
Reflection? On trying to fix the great failure of Navarra? The finest necromancers in the world, and what do we teach them? To loiter down in the necropolis. Navarra could be an empire. We could raise armies of corpses to slay our enemies and conquer new shores!
You'd make us another Tevinter.
Nonsense. I'm sure we'd do better.
What you said about Warden's early graves inspired me to make a will, Emmrich.
Very admirable.
And I'm leaving you a son.
Your what?
He'll need attention. 4 or 5 hours a day. Stock up on worms.
Well, then if anything ever happens to me, please keep an eye on Johanna.
That talking skull?
You'll need to prime the ether seals, watch she doesn't find a way to decay her wards, and never let her...
Now I'm redoing the will.
You have a question about negative topological functions?
Yes, please. Emmrich said it was okay to ask about this.
Do you always listen to that milksop? Well, at least you've come to a proper necromancer. First, I assume you've learned to cascade your spell weaves around wave inversions?
Oh, really? But wouldn't the explosive radius... I'd never try it.
That's cowardice speaking. Cast it aside. So you succeeded in Lichdom.
I have.
And you don't even have the decency to gloat.
This existence of ours is a gift. By the friendship we once had, I ask you to cherish it rather than let resentment dwell within you.
Let me try on your crown.
Absolutely not. You've been quiet on your collaboration with the Venatori.
They were only useful for information or the occasional artifact. The rest of the time, the intolerable wretches kept going on about their wine cellars and summer houses.
They sound akin to some of Navarra's nobility, to be honest.
Depressing, isn't it? You? You must be so pleased with yourself.
What the? Hezenkoss?
Of course it's me! Reduced to explain myself to Emmrich Veilguard's companions.
How are you alive?
A Lich isn't so easily destroyed.
Oh, even a failed Lich.
A meaningless phrase. Anyhow, if you must know, the Morn Watchers found me. Only my skull was intact in the rubble you left of my grand creation.
Why are you here?
Those Morn Watchers continue to forbid so-called immoral necromancy. As if anything within our grasp should be forbidden. The petty alarmists intend to use my abilities for some sort of penitence. But will be by with a sheaf of lectures, I'm sure.
I'm surprised Emmrich's talking to you after you killed Manfred.
I didn't force that ridiculous sack of bones to get in my way. Who knows what he saw in that shambling thing? Besides, a Lich can easily craft a new manservant. You there?
You don't actually know my name, do you?
Have you seen my hand? I could find it if I weren't smothered under all these wards. The thing must be wandering around somewhere. Come back to annoy me?
If you want.
No.
How different it all seems, Rook. Even my companion dead. They shine.
Veilguard's wedged himself nicely into your little group.
Wedged is harsh.
The man was always more comfortable in a crowd. When we were students, he'd constantly drag me to some preposterous party or salon. It's a wonder the chattering gadabout got any work done. The way people fawned over him.
I've heard of keeping enemies close, but Hezenkoss.
It seemed best she not disturb the others. Where she is must do.
Yes, yes, we've been through this. How articulate. Veilguard, keep your manservant away from me.
Manfred is an apprentice mage now.
That'll end well. Teaching a spirit of curiosity to conjure flame.
Manfred's learned his lesson after the incident with the rug.
What do you see in that thing?
I'm surprised Emmrich's talking to you after you hurt Manfred.
I didn't force him to turn down Lichdom for a single wretched whisk. Who'd think the man would give that up for? Anyhow, if Valkaran brought it back, the miserable skeleton must bring him some joy.
Ever thought of becoming a hat person?
You insolent brat!